What is up, everybody? It's your good friend Lukie, and I am back once again with a brand new golf course. We're on a roll. We're playing new courses, and I'm playing Callippe Preserve. Now, it might not be my most detailed course explanation, but it is an interesting golf course. And I think in the Tri-Valley area, if you're looking at Livermore, Pleasanton, and so forth and so on, a good introduction would be to say that if you don't really hit the ball far and you want a short course, go to Dublin Ranch, which is a fun par 3, par 4 course where the cart is included. I think Callippe Preserve balances the quirk of Wente, the golf course at Wente Vineyards, and it has some of the player elements that Poppy Ridge has, while still kind of keeping the fun of Dublin Ranch. So I'd say Callippe Preserve, in its way, is the most well-rounded that I think can attract the most amount of golfers. It has good green speeds. I felt like they were very fair. The conditions are great for what they are, but the word that I would use to describe this golf course over and over and over and, okay, you get it, is quirk. There are many different holes that have forced carries, but the forced carries actually come into play if you hit a shot too long on the fairway. I'm not a huge fan of penalizing a straight shot in a fairway with a one-stroke penalty, but that is a theme of this course. The theme of the course is you don't have to be long, you just have to be accurate and strategic. I think from the blue tees it played about 6,400. I would say it felt more like 6,100 to just flat 6 in terms of yardages, because you never really play, or you don't play that many straight holes. There's a lot of dog legs, and if you take the angles, it doesn't play true to the yardage. It actually, I believe, plays a little shorter. I think it has a lot of elements where if you're an older player or a shorter hitter, it brings in the element of, as long as you can get over the forced carries, you can run a lot of shots up to the green, which I think gives a lot of playability to multiple different types of players. That being said, this is a course that could get extremely punishing. The front nine is much more wide open. It's a much more kind of fair, I think would be the word. It's more fair. You can miss and still be in play. The back nine is more punishing. I think it's vastly more interesting. And more than likely, depending on how you're striking the ball, you'll either really like the back nine or you'll really hate the back nine. But the back nine is the creme de la creme. It's probably more of the championship nine, and it's more of the harder strategic holes where you have to make a decision off of the tee, which will lead into what you have going into the green. And at a lot of courses that are open to public play, I don't find myself always having to think, what am I going to hit off of this tee? This is a course where you can't just, or at least for me, I can't just take driver off of every tee because I don't know what the result would be. Very, very interesting golf course. I believe the rates are between about $80 to maybe $50. You can totally walk this course. It's very walkable, but take at least 5 to 10 golf balls because you can easily lose golf balls with the hazards. Some of the misses lead into hazards, and really not that many houses that come into play. It's really the stretch of the par 5, the third hole, the fourth hole. There's little elements where you could possibly hit a house and that could ruin your day, but more so it's making sure you don't hit another group, because sometimes the tee boxes are very close together and you just have to be observant, aware, and be sure to yell for if you end up hitting into another group, because it's very realistic that that can happen. Also, if you play on the weekend like I did, I wouldn't expect a super fast pace of play. This is a very enjoyable leisure golf course that has great amenities and a premium price point. So I think you're going to look at a 4.5 to 5 hour round, and that's just realistic with where golf is, how popular golf is, and the type of experience. Many people, this is an expensive golf course, so they're going to want to treat it as a leisure purchase probably. So if you're looking to whip around a golf course that's in great shape, this may or may not be yours. I honestly was pleasantly surprised, and I think it matches up very competitively with Wente and Poppy Ridge, and depending on what style of golf you like, this could be the one that draws you in the most. Let's go to the course. Okay, so you're not going to see much of the first hole, but it's very simple. It's a little dog leg left. It possibly is drivable depending on the tees. Uh, it came in quick for me, so that was it. Number 2, once again, same concept, just more bunkers that can come into play. Hit that little low punch shot. Still started off bogey. You didn't see any of the bogeys, but that's okay. They're not very memorable. The third is the first, what I'd call super gettable hole, where it's just a shorter par 5 uphill. Hit a good drive. I have no clue how far it went. You guys can make fun of my swing, make fun of how fast things are, how much am I putting in my pockets, and how much confidence I have. Left is death on this hole. So as you can see, I'm aiming at someone's house, and it didn't turn left, which is a super bummer. Came down though, had this wedge. Don't particularly love my gap wedge at the moment, but hit a good safe shot to the middle of the green. This is what it looks like if you walk between the third and fourth hole. Thought it might be notable because it includes someone's house, which is kind of baller. This is a feature at Callippe that I see quite often, which is downhill shots to par 3s that typically the wind is behind you, so it's hard to hold the green. This is the handsy pull. Look at where I landed, basically in an obstruction. This green has a bit of a punch bowl. I missed the punch bowl, made bogey on that. Once again, the quirk of this course, taking a wood off the tee, and this is a dog leg left. A theme of this hole is huge misses, so if you miss left, it's huge and bad. Ended up in a penalty area, hit this shot out, made bogey. This is the shape of the hole. Just had a chip that I could have gotten closer, but I just didn't. This is a very gettable par 3 on this particular day. That little low, snappy pull hook that I like to hit with my irons. Went to the back of the green. Surprisingly got up and down. That was good. This is on paper the hardest hole of the course. There's a forced carry. It plays into the wind on this particular day, and it's uphill, and it's about 400 or some odd yards. This was driver and a little low, snappy hook, 6-iron or 7-iron, I can't remember. But it was actually really good because visually there's this big bunker, and I knew I couldn't carry it, so I just ran it in there, and I did a good job. Super gettable hole here. You can miss outright. It actually endangers the group on the 9th tee box, but a lot of people will do that as the bailout. It's a 200 and some odd yard par 4 that's very, very gettable. I did a good drive, and then my feet are just so poorly aligned. I thought I was missing to the right, but that was just bad alignment on your boy's part, and left with a par when I could have been very gettable. 9th hole will forever stick in my memory because it was downwind, and I drove it into this hazard. So the hazard is very reachable. So I went 1-3, then this is 4. Once again, bad wedge alignment, and there's a lot of target golf and strategy to this course. So basically hit a straight shot, but I thought that that's where the pin was. So shout out me, and I made bogey like a true champion. 10 starts the back 9, and I think the back 9 is probably the better side, but you could really, really have an unfun time on the back 9. I think that's where you're going to lose your happiness if you're not striking the ball well. This first hole, I took 3-wood. I had a 7-iron in. It's a very long par 4. Just terrible contact on that. It barely got over, hit the cart path, hit a low skidder with a 58-degree lobber, went all the way to the back. The greens here are exceptional for a public course. Made bogey. 11, the big theme of the hole is just don't go left. It goes up like a little mountaintop, and left is death. So I missed out. Right, threaded the needle between the 2 trees like my man Seve Ballesteros. Yep, I said it. And just didn't have the number. You get these uphill Lake Chabot or Bethpage Black, whatever you want visualized type chips. There's a punch bowl behind that green, but I didn't play it right. 12 was the highlight of my day because I drove the green from the blue tees, which I honestly didn't think I could do. I think on paper it's 299. It's 282 to the front carry. It probably played about 260, which is what my driver probably goes. But it was still a really good feeling because it was a very thread the needle type risk reward shot. And I 2-putted for birdie, which typically is how I have to make birdies. 2 putts. This reminds me of, I believe, hole 8 on Chardonnay, where it's just a straight downhill shot. There's a couple of bunkers. What made this hole really hard was the wind was with us and it wouldn't hold the green. I hit a gap wedge, and even the gap wedge, it just couldn't hold the green. Ended up being kind of a frustrating bogey. Once again, next hole, very short par 4, but once again, left is completely unplayable and right narrows up into the next fairway. So it's really about how do you strategically want to play this hole, because length isn't the main factor. Playing into the wind, I was trying to hit a knockdown shot there, but it just wasn't good. Now, obviously, I got super lazy, so this is how this is going to look. And I hit a decent chip to make a bogey on that hole, but it wasn't exceptional. This is the craziest par 5 I've ever played, and I'll tell you why. It's downhill, a little downwind, so I hit a 5-wood because I didn't trust there's a hazard that the fairway cuts off, and I kept hitting into these hazards. So I hit the 5-wood, then I had the 3-wood, and I got home in 2 on a par 5, hitting 5-wood, 3-wood, which was kind of crazy. And what you should know is there's a forced carry in between the 2 fairways, and there's a pond in front of the left, and we had the sucker pin on this given day. So you really got to be strategic at this course. You cannot really bomb and gouge unless you really, really flight the ball well. 16 was the hardest hole on the course for me. It's probably because I don't completely trust where my irons are going these days. I think I was trying to hit a draw here, and it just stayed out to the right, and that went into a penalty area. This is a forced carry, and it's very, very narrow with trees around the green. 17 is another one of these hard holes. It would be super easy in a video game, but it's hard in real life because it's distance central. So I hit a good drive, went out about 270. Then I hit a terrible 5-iron, which hit like if you want that. And then I hit it into the sand, but there was like a rock near my club, and I actually hit the rock, made bogey, and look at how tight it is to miss around that green. 18, I will be honest, I don't love this hole. It combines 2 really hard holes at bridges, 18 and the par 5 before it, the forced carry, the triple forced carry. Hit 5-wood off this tee, missed a little left, but I didn't think it would be terrible, and it actually ran into the penalty area. So I'm hitting 3 here. Then I hit the 3-wood. That's the forced carry. This is kind of what you have, another forced carry. And then I was in the bunker laying 4, and it's just a lot of penalty area to finish your round. Hit it to the middle of the green, 2-putt for bogey, but hard finish. Thank you for watching this vlog. I appreciate anyone who contributes or subscribes or even likes a video. This is a passion project, and I'm just trying to do the best I can.